Hare Krishna. So happy to be with you all, the Lord, and of his pure devotees, and how that mercy of the Lord is being is brought to us, and how we don't even know the extent of the mercy that we are receiving. We have no idea, because after all, Krishna is unlimited, and therefore Krishna manifests himself not only in his personal form, but Krishna also manifests himself in different paraphernalia, in different things that are connected to him. He manifests himself not only directly in Ananta Rupam, in unlimited forms, but Krishna is also manifesting himself in his Tadiya. So this Tadiya is referring to all the paraphernalia and objects that, or personalities that are somehow or other connected with Krishna. So it is said, Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. That actually by worshipping the devotees of Krishna or the paraphernalia of Krishna, that worship is even more important than the worship of Krishna directly. So we see how the mercy of Krishna is coming in so many ways, and how that mercy of Krishna is manifesting, for example, in Tulasi Devi. Tulasi is Tadiya. The Ganga is Tadiya. The devotees are Tadiya. And each devotee is an ocean of mercy. And to what extent can we actually see?
Of course not. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, let us. What happened? Was I muted? Oh, don't mute me.
No, somebody else said something.
Yes. The people should not.
Get the mic on there. Mic should be off.
Mic should be off, and they can type a message if they need to announce something. That's how others do it. But mic should be muted, except mine, and it was unmuted. So somebody muted my mic, whoever that was. Anyhow, the mercy of Krishna comes through so many ways to us, and we're living in a movement which is an ocean of mercy. We're always in touch with mercy, and somehow or other surrounded by it. And we're knowingly or unknowingly touched by mercy. This is what we need, the mercy of Krishna. Now, somehow or other, because we were touched by that mercy, it is said in scripture, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyamanaji Guru Krishna Prasadapai Bhakti Lalka Beach. That while the living being is on his journey, life after life, through the universe, sometimes in the higher regions, sometimes in the lower regions, sometimes a good birth, sometimes a bad birth, sometimes human, sometimes like a tree, sometimes we don't know. I'm looking at someone, somehow or other, different devotees come on the screen, and then someone's on the screen, obeisances, who is sitting in front of a tree. And it makes me think that now sitting in a human form of the tree, in front of the tree, but maybe in a previous life, being a tree and a human being sitting in front of you. life after life, we change our positions. But then in the middle of all that, suddenly, by the mercy of the Lord and the mercy of the devotees, we are getting in touch with this mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the devotees are making endless arrangements for the mercy of the Supreme Lord to reach us. And the Lord himself makes endless arrangements. And we have no idea to what extent this mercy is being distributed. So today we're meditating like that. And I wanted to begin to speak about the three aspects of devotional service, which are Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. That in the beginning, our focus is Sambandha, to make the connection, with Krishna somehow or other. And that connection with Krishna is made to the exclusion of others, of other objects, of other deities. Previously, we may have overcome our tattva vibrama. Tattva vibrama means that we had initially not understood that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore we could not focus on him. Or we were distracted. We were distracted and we were preoccupied with satisfying our senses. And we had asatrisna, we had thirst for the temporary. And as a result, we could not focus on our original position, which is Jivera Sarupai Krishna Nichadas. So this is sometimes called Sarup Virama, that we are not able to see the goal of life, which is Krishna. But when it becomes clear to us what the goal of life really is, and that Vasudeva Paragati, that it is Vasudev, that it is Krishna, that is the goal of life. When we actually come to this point, then we start to give up all other distraction. And gradually we increase our focus on Krishna. And this is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Vayasyatmika Buddhir Ekaha Kurunandana Bahu Sakyanantascha. It is saying that we come to this point of giving up this Bahusaka, this many-branched intelligence, where the intelligence is distributed over many things because we think all these things might bring me some pleasure. So that's why we're so preoccupied with looking at opportunities and so many things. But when we understand Bahu Janmanamante Jnanavamam Prapadite Vasudeva Sukhamiti Samahatma Sadhu, when we understand that Krishna is everything, then we get this one-pointed attention. So Sambandha means that we make the connection, this one-pointed attention on Krishna, that we want to be devotees of Krishna, that we understand that we have faith. We have the firm faith that from serving Krishna, all happiness will come. And we understand that we are by nature servants, and that it's not possible to avoid that we are just always wind up serving. And so we accept our position as servants of the Supreme Lord. And in this way, we make the Sambandha strong. Then we carry on and we make the Sambandha stronger by initiation, by a regular practice, by bhajana kriya, by regular sadhana. We are And then the purification carries on. And we go deeply into the process of devotional service, abhideya. So at Sambandha, there is our focus on Krishna, and Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. He is the Akila Rasam Rita Murti. So Krishna, as the reservoir of all pleasure, he is an ocean of bliss, and whoever gets in touch with Krishna becomes touched by this transcendental bliss. So as we make the sambandha, the connection with Krishna, we become touched by some of Krishna's bliss. Then as we go deeper into the desire to rearrange our life according to Krishna's directions, we meet Krishna in scripture. Krishna comes in his personal form. Krishna comes in so many paraphernalia. And one important way that Krishna comes to us is in scripture. Because currently we cannot sit and speak with Krishna and ask Krishna, "Oh, Krishna, I am your servant. I am your servant. How can I dedicate myself to you? What can I do for you as your servant?" And that we cannot ask Krishna. But Krishna has explained what he desires extensively in scriptures. Therefore, scripture is very important because it is the voice of Krishna. And through this, Krishna speaks to us. And through this, Krishna is actually telling us what he desires. So in the stage of abhideya, we are going the stage where we are trying to be purified and trying to come closer to Krishna. We are learning what Krishna desires. And as a result, we become more and more in touch with the mercy of Krishna, and as more connected. And as a result, we become more blissful. As a result, we become very much overwhelmed and touched by Krishna's mercy. And we become emotionally involved. We actually become captured by Krishna. In the Srila Jiva Goswami wrote a comment on the Bhagavad Gita, and he defined the name of Bhagavan, and he explained it consists of 3 syllables, Ba, Ga, and Va, and that the word is made of these 3 syllables. The 3 syllables stand for Bhajaniya Guna Visista, and Bhajaniya Guna Visista actually means that Krishna is so attractive, you cannot help but to love him. You cannot help but to worship him. Bhajaniya. The word bhajaniya means bhaj dhatu includes worship, includes service, and includes love. So bhajaniya guna visista is Krishna has such amazing qualities, you cannot help but serve him or love him or worship him. So therefore, in the stage of abhideya, we gradually get involved with the heart in devotional service, and we associate with devotees who are deep in their bhakti, and their hearts are filled with transcendental knowledge. And I explained earlier today, this knowledge is overbrimming. It is overflowing from them, from their mouths, from their whole being. Everything is connected with Krishna, and not only connected with Krishna, that means not only are they engaged in worshiping Krishna, or not only have they connected every activity with Krishna. We can either serve Krishna directly, by worshiping him, or indirectly by doing some material work, but then connecting that material work with the result of it with Krishna, then that material work also becomes transcendentally surcharged with Krishna's potency. Then that material work also becomes tadiya. So in this way, every aspect of life then is connected with Krishna. The sambandha has been made, but because of the abhideya, because investing in service, we have gradually become purified from the covering, and our connection with Krishna is more complete, and we begin to appreciate Krishna's mercy more. And so everything which is now connected with Krishna, directly, indirectly, brings us great bliss. Susukham kritamayam. And in this way, devotional service becomes very blissful. And anandam buddhivardhanam, one is absorbed in an ocean of transcendental bliss. And so the deeper Vaishnavas are like full of such transcendental bliss. And that is like, it is just in their hearts like an ocean and full of waves. And these waves are moments of relishing and moments of appreciating Krishna. So this has been our topic today, and then that will transport us to the association of Krishna and bring us to the residence of Krishna, who are the eternal associates who reside with Krishna, the Prasad devotees. And then we will be with those residents. And then, although we are not like them, we would reside at the feet of these residents. These are the Ragatmika devotees, the devotees that are totally absorbed in service of Krishna. And then we will become followers of these devotees, the devotees who serve Krishna with great rag, with great attachment. And we will also be driven by our attachment, although we can't compare to these eternal associates, but we also are experiencing now waves of attachment, and we will also eagerly follow in the mood of these eternal servants and fine-tune our service, increase our service, and just become more and more absorbed in our service. And so we come to the stages of advanced devotional service. And that is Bhajaniya Guna Visista. It is irresistible. Krishna is all attractive. That is amazing. Krishna will attract us. And devotional service can attract Krishna. So by engaging in devotional service, we can attract Krishna. And we come closer and closer to Krishna. And our whole life changes. And then it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter how we live externally. And not sinful. Sinful things have to be stopped. But whether we live in working in the world, and from that relating to Krishna, or whether we live in an ashram or a temple, and from that relate to the world, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. That is totally secondary, because from any position, stan stita sutikatan tanvanaman vir, one can, from stanam stiti, but just stay in the place. No need to change the place. Just make the place, fill the place with transcendence, fill the place with devotional service, and in all directions, and take every aspect and offer it carefully to Krishna. So in this way, we are wandering through the world, like, in one sense, like pujaris who, whatever they find, they make it they make it suitable for Krishna, clean it and this, that, and then offer it to Krishna. And so this spiritual life is a great transcendental adventure, because everyone is on his own path, on his own course through the material world. We don't know how our lives are going to unfold. And we can all, just on our natural path, engage and connect everything with Krishna. Then we have a path which is given to us by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and is given to us in the writings of his pure representatives. In particularly, we have Rupa Goswami's writings, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which tells us in great detail how to practice devotional service. So now we're seeing an external formal process. It is, so the external formal process, bhakti as an external formal process, where we rise, preferably early in the morning, where we bathe, where we apply tilak, where we wear kuntimala, where we are chanting on tulasi beads, where we are chanting, where we're worshipping deities, where we are remembering deities, where we're hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam, and so many other things which are part of a external regulated process. So in the natural course of our life, which is flowing according to our karma, we have now removed all sinful activities, and then we bring in this regulated process of sadhana bhakti, where we can, and that will purify the natural flow of the circumstances and of how we position ourselves in the circumstances that we are in according to our karma. And everyone, according to his karma, is somewhere in a particular place, in a particular situation, with a particular group of people, and makes money in a particular way, and is able to eat certain types of food, and all these things are just determined by our karma. But within all of that, we bring in the regulated process of sadhana bhakti as a force to further connect us stronger to Krishna, to bring a more, the sadhana bhakti is bringing us direct association of Krishna in the form of the deity, in the form of the deity, in the form of the holy name. The holy name is described as abhinatvam naminamino, that the name is non-different from Krishna. Shrimad Bhagavatam is described as the literary incarnation of Krishna, so is also Krishna. The deity is not made of stone, but the deity is Krishna. So in this way, Krishna manifests himself to us in these ways, and we can associate with Krishna. Krishna is also manifesting himself through the holy Dham, and in this way, we also associate with Krishna. And the Vaishnavas, they carry Krishna's mercy. And Krishna's mercy ultimately means when we say, oh, please, give me some mercy. What does that mercy really mean? The mercy may deal in two ways, in the ways of Tatastha Laksam and in the way of Swarup Laksam. In the ways of Tatastha Laksam, or it deals with, it influences the temporary circumstances of the material world. And in the way of Sarup Laksan, it will awaken the original, eternal nature of the spiritual world. So as we associate with the mercy of Krishna, the mercy of Krishna will deal with the temporary Hare Krishna. I hope everything is good. So the as we then tatastha laksan of devotional service, they destroy all the affliction of the material world. Therefore, devotional service is described as klesa gni, that which destroys all the suffering of the material world, and it removes all the aparabdha karma, aparabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalam mukam kramaneva pradiyeta vishnu bhakti tattanam. So this aparabdha karma stored within the heart then is removed by devotional service. So that is all tatastha laksan. It removes our karma, it removes all the obstacles. But that is only the side effect of devotional service. The real essence of devotional service are the Swarup Laksan, is the eternal qualities that it awakens our eternal love for Krishna, that it reawakens our attraction to Krishna, that it reawakens our enthusiasm to serve Krishna, and that it actually transports us into the association of Krishna, and that we will eternally regain that position in the association of Krishna. That is the real lasting benefit of bhakti. When we say devotional service purifies us and delivers us from all material suffering, that's good. But that's not what it's about. What it's about is devotional service immerses us into an ocean of transcendental love, of transcendental nectar. So that is very nice. Today, then, this topic has been discussed in many ways, and in my lecture on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I've been giving daily, I spoke on the Gundicha Marjana, the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, which Krishnadas Kaviraj in the first verse of the Madhya Lila 12 compares to the cleansing of the temple is like the cleansing of the heart. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta gave a purport into Madhya Lila 12, text 135, describing how the whole Gundicha pastime is corresponding with the cleansing of the heart. And he speaks that in the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, there was 2 times cleansing. There was the first gross dirt was thrown out, and then the finer dirt was thrown out. So the gross dirt means the gross material activities, sinful activities, and association with the wrong material things has to be stopped. And then the second cleansing deals with the internal cleansing, the cleansing of the heart, the cleansing of the consciousness. And of course, that is specifically what is of great interest to us, because as we are connecting to this movement, the connection means that that's what we're doing. We are basically overcoming these impurities in our heart and rising above. So when we were speaking about this Gundicha Marjana and the purport of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, then I took it a little further, and I went to a book of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Bhajan Rahasya, and I went to the second chapter of the Bhajan Rahasya, where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives a description of the anarthas and how they are overcome. And it speaks about various things. And it speaks about, the misconception, misidentification, not fully understanding ourselves as a servant of Krishna, misdirected desires for enjoyment to the material world, thirsting for the temporary. It speaks about weakness of heart, and then it spoke about aparat, and which is translated in English as offense. And but I read a nice thing about it, which I've repeated a few times today, because I found it inspiring. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave an explanation and explained the word aparat. And he explained that the word radha means priti, means love. Well, that's not surprising, because aradhanam, Srimati Radhika, the greatest worshipper, the greatest lover. So in the word aparat means the same radha is there, the same word radha is there. And it says the same word love, priti. It said an aparada which makes that priti, that love, go away, or that which drives love away. So I like that a lot, much better than the word offense. You know, I never liked the word offense so much. Sort of my rebellious nature gets an image of police that is trying to control me, and you know, I want to sort of fight back. But when you say aparat, that which makes love go away, that is very interesting, I thought. So yes, we are careful. We are careful not to do things that drive love away, not to disrespect Krishna, not to disrespect the tadiya, the paraphernalia connected to Krishna, not to disrespect the devotees, not to disrespect the holy dham. We must change for that, because to be respectful means that only if one is very humble is it possible to be respectful. We must really have a concept of to give respect to all others by embracing humility. So this is all in the process of becoming more qualified. So then we develop some, because we are seriously trying to be purified. We're going to taste some rag. We're going to get some attachment. We're going to relish. We're going to relish being in Vrindavan. We're going to relish, oh yes, the holy dham. So many amazing places. Yes. Yes, we will relish here in places like Radha Kund. Today, I had a discussion with Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, and it was a very nice discussion, because I had spoken about the how the mercy extends much greater than we know. I had been speaking about the glorification of Srila Prabhupada, and how on big festivals like in Vrindavan, on Prabhupada's Disappearance Festival, how there are so many close disciples, senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who've given their life to him, who've dedicated, who are sharing their memories and their glorification of Srila Prabhupada. And it's amazing the depth of appreciation that is coming out in these discussions. And we are hearing and through that, getting it, our vision is growing. And then last year, Guru Kripa, and as Guru Kripa spoke, Guru Kripa Prabhu, who was like one of Prabhupada's sannyasis, he was a GBC, one of Prabhupada's leaders. Guru Kripa was saying, he was speaking, he said, it was just like a thunderbolt. It's like lightning. Said that Prabhupada appeared for a moment and lit up everything so bright and gave us such a vision and such an experience, and it was so short, and then it was over. It was so intense and so short, and then it was over, right? And then all of them, Prabhupada's disciples, continued to live after 1977 and continued to live after that moment of intense association with Prabhupada and thinking about it and carrying on with loyalty in service to him and serving him for a lifetime now until their old age. And now they assemble and they remember and speak of the miracle that happened in their life and how Prabhupada was just revealing himself. So I was speaking about this and I said, but all that we know is just the tip of the iceberg. Because how can we truly appreciate the depth of Srila Prabhupada's mercy? Vaishnava kriya vigyana bujaya. One cannot understand the depth of the mercy, of the love that a senior Vaishnava, a superior Vaishnava has for Krishna. How can we understand? We cannot. So, as I had taken up that theme in the discussion, then Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, he offered a comment, and it was a nice comment. And Maharaj was saying that in the commentary, in the Gita commentary of Srila Baladev Vichapusam, there's an interesting comment in the closing words. And then in the closing words, Srila Baladev is explaining what transpired. And it said that he was residing at Radhakund. And then the devotees, they came to him and they asked him to write a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Baladev Vichapusam said, well, I'm now residing at Radhakund and I would really like to get into another type of meditation. I mean, here, I wouldn't really want to meditate so much onto the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm not inclined so much to write a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, although I could do such a thing, but maybe do it on another occasion. But then in days to follow, the devotees, more devotees requested, and other devotees, they really requested him to do it. So since it was the will of the Vaishnavas, then Srila Baladev Vichapusam surrendered. He surrendered to it. And he took it up, and then he writes, and as I began my commentary, I embarked on a journey. It was like I went on a little boat onto the ocean, on the ocean of the Bhagavad Gita. And as I was sailing onto this ocean of the Bhagavad Gita, there were powerful waves, and these powerful waves, they were rocking my little boat. And at one point, the waves, they washed over my little boat, and I went underwater. And then as I went deep into the ocean of the Bhagavad Gita, I came across so many amazing jewels there. Right? And in this way, I just entered into deeper dimensions of the Bhagavad Gita. So that was a very beautiful description and very nice description. Then when I heard that, it reminded me of the issue that Srila Prabhupada, he had called the deities in Delhi, in the Delhi temple, he had called them Radha Parthasarathi. Now, in Harisori's diary, it is described that in 1975, that issue came up. Why the deity was called Radha Parthasarathi? The same question returned in the 90s. But in the diary, Harisori said it came up in 1975. And Radha Parthasarathi, how is it possible? Parthasarathi is the chariot driver, is Krishna as the chariot driver of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Radha Parthasarathi, isn't that Ras Abaz and mixing of mellows? How is Radharani named there with Parthasarathi? So it seems a very awkward name. So how is this name possible? It seems that it's not right. And then when that was brought to Srila Prabhupada, then Srila Prabhupada said that he said that no, Parthasarathi, yes, he is the chariot driver of Krishna in Kurukshetra. Yes, he's the chariot driver of Arjuna in Kurukshetra. Yes, he is he's there. But wherever Krishna is, wherever he is, whether he is in Kurukshetra or anywhere, Krishna is always thinking of Srimati Radharani. And therefore, Radha Parthasarathi. So then see how deep Srila Prabhupada entered into the Bhagavad Gita. How deep he went into that ocean of the Bhagavad Gita. And that he even saw how Radharani was also there. These kind of things are just illustrating just a little bit. We are only seeing the tip of the iceberg of who Prabhupada is. Only seeing the tip of the iceberg who Krishna is. We're seeing only the tip of the iceberg of the mercy of Krishna. And in this way, we are talking. And then, then afterwards, we had a little short private conversation and said, another senior devotee commented that Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, we were talking, and Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj is very is reserved and not revealing his inner feelings, but that actually when Maharaj starts speaking about Krishna, he has so much love. And then Maharaj said, well, they're exaggerating. But then I was saying, yes, but this love for Krishna is such, it is such that we can't help it. We can't help it. When we hear about these amazing qualities of Krishna, and as we go deeper into trying to understand and to hear and explore the amazing qualities of Krishna, we can't help but to love them. We can't help because they're so nice. They're actually so nice. And therefore, in this way, we just become caught up into the whole thing. As Jiva Goswami said, Bhajaniya Guna Visista, irresistible. We have to love. We have to love Krishna. It's not possible not to love Krishna. All we need to do is to explore who Krishna is. And if we do so, then automatically our love for Krishna awakens. Thank you so much. I will stop with my lecture and now would like to invite you for some questions. Usually the easiest way is questions are sent and typed, right? And if the moderator reads them out to me, then it's the easiest way for me to answer.
Okay, so we have one question. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, you mentioned our karma having an impact on our lives. How much of an impact does our karma have on our devotional service? Surely the level of our surrender would have an impact on this. Your servant.
Yes. Well, we have to think about it that when we take up Krishna consciousness, we are entering into a boat of transcendental knowledge. And that boat of transcendental knowledge is under the direction of the spiritual master, taking us across the ocean of material existence. The breezes of the Vedas are the favorable winds that carry us across. So in this way, we are in the boat of transcendental knowledge. But we have brought our karma, and the three modes of material nature are still rocking our boat. They're rocking our boat of devotional service. So here we are now, rocked by a virus, right? And we feel the modes of nature have cooked up a good one, and our boat is all rocking, and what to do. Now, if we are very transcendental, that means the more we connect every aspect of our life with Krishna, every little thing, offer it to Krishna, every moment. The more we offer every moment to Krishna, the less we are affected by all these, by these waves that rock the boat. But if we are only offering some things to Krishna and other things not to Krishna, then we are more affected by these modes. In other words, if some of our karma, some of the result of our activities, and some of our activities are not yet connected with Krishna, while other things are, then we are in early stages of devotional service, and then we become more rocked by the three modes of material nature. We become more affected by it. Whereas when we have connected every aspect of our life, then the rocking of the boat of transcendental knowledge, which is going over the ocean of material existence, that rocking of the boat will not affect us. So therefore we must step by step connect everything with Krishna. Okay, next.
Hare Krishna, I have one question still from previous Zoom regarding the Holy Dham. So if you can answer. You were once speaking on your lecture that there is two divisions in spiritual world where Krishna Lila and Chaitanya Lila is taking place, and that we can be either in one or also in two divisions simultaneously. Can you share some more information about this topic? Thank you.
Well, we find that this is described by Srila Bhaktivendanta Saraswati Thakur in the Brahma Samhita and the Brahma Samhita commentary. And the spiritual world is divided into two halves. It is understandable because we have two manifestations of Krishna, namely Krishna of Vrindavan and Krishna Chaitanya. And both are eternal manifestations. It's not that the form of Lord Chaitanya is a temporary form. Therefore, as Krishna has his eternal manifestation, Lord Chaitanya has his eternal manifestation, and so as Krishna has his eternal abode, with his eternal associates. Lord Chaitanya has his eternal abode with his eternal associates. Lord Chaitanya there is eternally absorbed in worshiping Krishna and in glorifying Krishna. And in that way, the transcendental abode of Sweta Dweep, which is the abode of Lord Chaitanya, is filled with the greatest ecstasy. Other devotees are in Vrindavan eternally with Krishna and performing pastimes in the forests. And then, because in the spiritual world we're not limited, some devotees, they can also be in Okay, I'm back. Yes? All right. So I was speaking about one can also be in both these worlds at the same time, because in the spiritual world we're not limited. The eternal residents of the spiritual world are also very powerful. So they can be in both worlds at the same time. We will see. We will see these things when we get there. This is the sort of stuff we read, and it gives okay, struggling a little bit, but these things give us an idea. When we hear about the spiritual world, two divisions, give us an idea of where we're going. When we talk about the spiritual world, it gives us an impression. We are not yet able to fully understand the spiritual world, but hearing about the spiritual world helps us to develop a desire to actually go there. Otherwise, as our daily meditation, who are we to just daily meditate on the spiritual world? There's a lot to do here and now, and in connecting every aspect of our life to Krishna. So our main focus is on that. But sometimes we look at the situation of the spiritual world, and it is interesting that there are two divisions, and that one can be either in one or in both. Hare Krishna. So we're almost to the end of the time, I think, right? So what do you think, Ojani Tai? Should we conclude it here?
Maybe we can have one more question. I just read it. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj.
How to serve best is all I heard.
Could you please say anything about Akshaya Tritiya and how to observe it best? That's the question.
I see. Akshaya Tritiya is the day to make a new beginning. Right? So it is a day that we are thinking about undertaking new efforts. And so on this day, today, we can think about what new effort we can really make, and then fix ourselves in this effort. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have the idea right now. It can be something that you already started, but that on, like for example, I do daily lectures on Chaitanya, Chaitanya Charitamrita and other biographies and background, with the idea to transcribe these lectures and in the future create a book, you know, building it up more and then make a book. So this day of Akshaya Tritiya would for me be a day to really reinforce my meditation and to really focus on my goal and pray that I may bring this to completion. So in this way, Akshaya Tritiya is for that. Is we are thinking of some service we can do for Krishna, some mission we want to accomplish, some task, and then meditate on it and bring it to a good result. I was supposed to take sannyas on Akshaya Tritiya, yeah? But then on the day, it was arranged that Jayadvaita Maharaj was giving me sannyas, and then Shiv Ram Maharaj had agreed to do the yajna. So that was like great mercy upon me. But then Maharaj had a dental issue and had to go to the dentist on Akshaya Tritiya. So we had to do it a day later, and we did it on the Saturday, day after, which was also good because it was Saturn is good for renunciation, so it was also auspicious. So the idea was I would take sannyas on Akshaya Tritiya so that it was a good day to bring the whole function to a good completion. So I'm praying for all your blessings, that although I was a day late, that still I may bring this this sannyas also to a good completion. So tomorrow it would be then 23 years ago that I took sannyas.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's a few more questions, but
so thank you very much. Huh?
Thank you very much, Guru.
I can go on. It is not a problem. Yeah, I don't mind going on for a little more, but it depends on your time. I don't what you all want to do, and if you all want, you know, if you want, I can answer a few more questions.
So let's say officially it's over. Whoever likes to skip can go now, and whoever likes to hear some more questions, say.
Bhaktivinoda Purna Maharaj is doing that in Mayapur, you know. He was told he should end the class at a certain time, so then Maharaj announced it. Now the class is over, right? And then he says, but anyone who wants to stay to discuss a little more can stay. And then he goes on for an extra half an hour.
Yeah, there's 3 more questions, so maybe we can hear them.
Mm-hmm.
One is, you said that we should stay in place and to fill it with transcendence. Can you explain little how to do that as a limited person? From Jayadev.
Okay, well, you know, there was, of course, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was this Brahmana who wanted to leave everything, who wanted to leave home and wanted to join Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, no, you just stay home in your existing situation and you just practice Krishna consciousness there. So as simple as that. And it's like, it doesn't mean we don't need to make adjustments. I mean, obviously, some things don't fit in a Krishna conscious life, but that's only the gross, you know. Like in my talk, I spoke about the Gundicha Marjana and how there was 2 levels of cleaning, Gundicha Marjana as cleaning of the heart, 2 levels of cleaning. One was give up the gross activities, the activities that don't fit into Krishna consciousness. They have to just go. And then you get the more refined internal cleaning, which is much more difficult in a way, because it's more difficult to see, more difficult to catch, more difficult to work on our internal lack of purity. But again, by associating, we associate either directly with advanced devotees or we associate with great personalities through the Bhagavatam. Like this morning, I gave a Bhagavatam lecture, and here in Durban, the discussion is we have been on the chapter of the marriage of Kadamba Muni and Devahuti. And then you get a whole description how Swayambhuva Manu, he comes and he appears before Kadamba Muni. And then there's an amazing exchange between the two, because they are so respectful and so happy to see each other. And they're both such saintly personalities. And their external roles as like a Brahmin and Kshatriya is very secondary. And in their exchanges, it's very nice and very a very devotional, spiritual culture. They're fulfilling their roles. One is the king, the other one is the sage, and they're both doing what they're doing, but they're both so appreciative of what the other is doing, and so much seeing that they are saintly personalities. And then a little later in the chapter, there's a description how the king, after everything is arranged with his daughter's marriage and is agreed by the sage and so on, then he returns to, the king comes back to his city. And then when he returns to his city, he's being received by the citizens who are overjoyed. And the word that is used is prahasita, which means like very happy, abundantly happy to see him, overjoyed. So when you read all that, it is just so nice to see, besides you reading about the marriage and this and that, just to see the culture of the interaction between all these personalities. So in the culture with the Vaishnavas, especially, that second cleansing is taking place. It is in the community of the Vaishnavas that, and where we are trying to act like a Vaishnava in dealing with the Vaishnavas, that these finer sentiments and finer qualities of Vaishnavas become revealed to us in others and begin to emerge in ourselves. So we need this Vaishnava interaction and Vaishnava association. And there we can grow and become, and actually go to that transformation of the internal transformation. The external transformation is much easier, is much clearly defined, either you smoke or you don't, you drink or you don't, coffee is in or coffee is out. It's quite clear, the external, but it's the internal is subtle and refined and sometimes hard to catch. And so we cannot always consciously catch it, but it is happening in the association of the devotees, that we see the qualities displayed in others, and that we see, and that some of these qualities begin to come out in us in that interaction. So it is there. That is the main stage where we are making the internal transformation. In the association of the Vaishnavas, we find the qualification to approach the lotus feet of Krishna.
Okay, we have one more question. Can you hear me?
Okay.
We get our conditioned lives based on our karma from previous lives. And as you said, along with the three modes of nature, we get the fruits and sufferings all in our lives in this material world. So what is the purpose of heaven and hell, higher and lower planets? Thank you.
Yes, okay. Heaven, hell, higher, lower planets. These are all part of the material arrangements to which are responding to the living being's actions and reactions. When the living being is acting in a selfless, cruel, insensitive way towards others, then the living being is going down to lower regions into suffering to correct him from that selfish mentality. When the living being is more selfless and more dedicated to the good of others, then the living being is elevated and attains the heavenly regions. So that is all within that, in the realm of karma, and that's just a cycle. Sometimes going up, sometimes going down, and that karmic cycle continues life after life until we take a devotional service. Then devotional service initially comes in like a little bit into that whole karmic reality, just a little speck of devotional service, and we do a little service, and then by the association of devotees, that devotional service begins to grow, and as it grows, it begins to push that whole karmic reality off to the side, and as the devotional service grows, it just takes over the whole situation, and it becomes internally and externally the predominant factor, and we are simply no longer just controlled by the material nature. We're now controlled by the spiritual nature, and we're in the boat of transcendental knowledge, and even the rocking of the three modes of material nature is only on the outside of the boat, and it doesn't really affect us. It doesn't affect our transcendental position at all. And in this way, in the boat, we are on a fixed course of going back to Godhead. But before we step in the boat of transcendental knowledge, yeah, then we're just in the cycle of karma, sometimes going up, sometimes going down. Like that. All right. So now I'm going to say goodbye to all.
Thank you very much for being with us.
It's been a great enjoyment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
It's very nice to see devotees from all over the world.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. I just went from Berlin to New Jersey, and then and next moment I was on another screen in Mumbai. Who said Hare Krishna? Oh yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Gauranga.
Hare Bol. Hare Bol Maharaj.
Gauranga.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Bol Maharaj.
It's very nice to see your faces. New York, yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Danvat Pranam Maharaj. Kodi Danvat Pranam.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So may all of you do very well, and yeah, for now, all we can do is travel through the internet and appear on a little screen.
But it is more, it's very much Maharaj.
It's not bad. It's not bad, huh? Krishna, somehow or other, it helped us. It's okay. Still, I would like to give someone a pat on the shoulder, you know. So I do a virtual pat. Pat.
Maharaj, give us the blessing on the Akshaya Tritiya.
Oh, yes, definitely. And that you may think of a deep purpose fulfilled today, of fair, something you want to attain in your life for Krishna on this day, and pray to Krishna that you may get the strength to fulfill it.
Yes, Maharaj.
And whatever that is.
We'll take one thing today. Definitely we'll do something.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Gauranga, Haribo.
Haribo.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Nanda.
I haven't got arrested yet.
All right. Nah, you'll be all right. Keep on doing Hari Nam. Huh?
Where are you doing?
For
Okay.
arranging. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ah.